You've tried everything. You've scrubbed it with dish soap, you've poured hot water on it, you've maybe even gone at it with a stiff brush until your arms gave out. And still, that oil stain is sitting right there on your garage floor, dark and stubborn like it owns the place. Maybe it's been there for years. Maybe it happened last week when your car decided to leak all over the concrete. Either way, every single time you walk into that garage, your eyes go straight to it. It bothers you. It makes the whole space feel dirty, even when everything else is clean and organized. And the worst part? Most of the advice out there tells you to rent a pressure washer, buy some expensive industrial cleaner, or hire someone to come do it for you. Like removing an oil stain has to be a big, complicated, expensive project. It doesn't. What I'm going to show you today costs about $8. It uses products you can grab at any hardware store or grocery store. It takes 15 minutes of actual work. And when you're done, that stain, the one that's been haunting your garage floor for who knows how long, is going to be gone permanently. No pressure washer, no kneeling on hard concrete for an hour, no heavy scrubbing that wears out your back, just a simple, proven method that actually works, explained clearly and step by step so anyone can do it. So if you've got an oil stain on your garage floor, stay with me, because by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly how to get rid of it today. The problem with oil stains and why nothing seems to work. Before we get into the solution, let me take just a minute to explain why oil stains are so difficult to remove in the first place, because once you understand this, the method we're using is going to make total sense. Concrete looks solid, but it's actually full of tiny little pores, almost like a sponge. When more oil drips onto your garage floor, it doesn't just sit on the surface. Within minutes, it starts soaking down into those pores, going deeper and deeper into the concrete. The longer it sits, the deeper it goes. That's why splashing water and dish soap doesn't work. Water and oil don't mix. That's just chemistry. You can rub soap and water on an oil stain all day long, and the soap might lift a tiny bit off the very top, but it's not getting down into the pores where the oil has already settled. You're basically cleaning the surface of the stain, not the stain itself. Pressure washers can blast some of it out, but they're expensive to rent, they're heavy and awkward to use, and honestly, for a lot of people, especially if you're dealing with a bad knee, a sore back, or just don't want to wrestle with a piece of equipment, it's just not a realistic option. Here's what you actually need: something that can absorb the oil out of the concrete from the inside, something that pulls it up rather than trying to push it down or wash it away. And then you need something that can break down whatever oil is left so it can actually be rinsed away. That's exactly what this method does, and when you understand that, the whole process clicks into place perfectly. What you'll need. All right, let's talk about what you're going to need. I promised you this costs around $8, and I mean it. Everything on this list is affordable, easy to find, and probably available at your local Walmart, Home Depot, or even your regular grocery store. Here's your shopping list. The first thing you need is a large box of baking soda. You probably already have some in your kitchen, but for a big stain, you may need a full box or even two. Baking soda is one of the most underrated cleaning agents in existence, and it's going to play a key role in this process. The second thing you need is a bottle of liquid dish soap. Dawn dish soap is the gold standard here, the original blue kind. It's specifically designed to cut through grease and oil, and it does the job beautifully on concrete too. If you don't have Dawn, any grease-cutting dish soap will work, but Dawn is what I'd recommend. Third, you need a stiff bristle scrub brush. This doesn't have to be anything fancy. A basic deck scrub brush or a heavy-duty scrub brush with a handle works perfectly. The handle is important. It means you don't have to bend all the way down to scrub, which saves your back a lot of grief. Fourth, you need a bucket of hot water, just regular tap water as hot as your tap will go. Fifth, and this one is optional but very effective for really old or stubborn stains, you can grab a small bag of cat litter, the plain, old-fashioned clay kind, not the scented kind, not the clumping kind with crystals, just basic, cheap clay cat litter. This stuff is incredible at pulling oil out of concrete, and a small bag costs less than $3. And finally, you'll need some paper towels or old rags and a garden hose or a couple extra buckets of water for rinsing at the end. That's it. Total cost, somewhere between $5 and $10, depending on what you already have at home. Everything else, the actual effort, the satisfying result, that's free. Step-by-step process. Step 1. Prep the area. First things first, let's get the area ready. Move your car out of the garage if it's parked over the stain, and move any boxes, tools, or items sitting nearby. You want a clear, open space so you can work comfortably without bumping into things. Take a look at the stain. How big is it? Is it a fresh stain or an old one? Fresh stains, anything less than a week or two old, tend to respond faster because the oil hasn't had as much time to sink deep into the concrete. Older stains need a little more patience and a little more product, but they absolutely still come out with this method. Now, if you have an old stain that's been sitting for months or years, this is where the cat litter comes in, and this is the step most people skip, which is exactly why most people don't get great results. Pour a generous layer of clay cat litter directly onto the stain. You want it about ½ an inch thick, covering the entire stained area. Then, here's the key, use your foot or the back of your brush to press it down and grind it into the stain. You're essentially pressing the cat litter into the pores of the concrete, and the clay is going to start absorbing the oil that's trapped in there. Leave it for 5 to 10 minutes. Just walk away, let it do its job. The cat litter is quietly pulling oil up out of the concrete, oil that soap and water would never reach on their own. When the time is up, sweep up the cat litter with a broom and dustpan. Don't be surprised if it looks darker. That means it worked. It pulled oil out of the concrete and into itself. That's exactly what you wanted. Step 2. Apply the baking soda. Now that you've drawn out as much oil as possible with the cat litter, it's time for phase 2. This is where baking soda steps in, and here's why it works so well. Baking soda is slightly alkaline and oil is acidic. When baking soda contacts oil, it neutralizes it chemically, basically breaking down the molecular structure of the oil so it stops clinging to the surface. On top of that, baking soda is mildly abrasive, which means it helps physically lift the oil as you scrub. Sprinkle baking soda generously over the entire stained area. Don't be shy, you want a good, thick layer covering every inch of the stained area. If you're working with a large stain, use more. This isn't the place to be stingy. Now, take about a teaspoon or 2 of your Dawn dish soap and drizzle it directly over the baking soda. You're going to see it start to fizz gently. That fizzing is the chemical reaction happening, and it's a good sign. The baking soda and soap are already working together to start breaking down that oil. Take your bucket of hot water and pour just a small amount, maybe ½ a cup, over the baking soda and soap. Not enough to wash it away, just enough to make it into a thick paste that you can work with. Step 3. The scrub. This is the part where the magic really happens, and this is also the part where most people don't do it long enough. Take your stiff bristle scrub brush and start working that paste into the stain in a circular motion. Scrub firmly, working the paste deep into the surface of the concrete. The baking soda is doing the chemical work, the soap is breaking down the grease, and your scrubbing is physically working all of that into the pores of the concrete where the oil is hiding. You want to scrub for about 3 to 5 minutes on a typical stain. For a large or very old stain, go a full 5 to 7 minutes. I know that sounds like a long time, but this is the step that separates a decent result from a truly impressive one. As you scrub, you'll notice the paste starting to darken or turn a yellowish-brown color. That's the oil being lifted out of the concrete and into the paste. It might not look pretty, but that's a sign that this is working exactly the way it's supposed to. If the paste dries out too quickly, just add a tiny bit more water to keep it workable, but don't add so much that it becomes runny. You want it to stay paste-like, thick enough to keep contact with the stain. But here's the part most people miss, and this is really important. After you've scrubbed the paste in well, don't rinse it off yet. Walk away. Let that paste sit on the stain for 5 full minutes. Cover it with a piece of cardboard or a towel if you like, just to keep it from drying out completely. During those 5 minutes, the baking soda and soap are continuing to work, continuing to draw out oil, continuing to break down the stain at a chemical level. If you rinse too soon, you short-circuit the whole process. Set a timer if you need to. 5 minutes. That's all it takes, but those 5 minutes matter a lot. Step 4. Rinse and reveal. All right, 5 minutes are up. Now it's the moment of truth. Take your garden hose on a regular, steady flow, not a high-pressure setting, and rinse the area thoroughly. Work from one side to the other, pushing the paste off the concrete completely. If you're using buckets of water instead of a hose, pour slowly and steadily, making sure you get all the paste off. As the paste washes away, take a look at what's underneath. For most stains, especially ones that haven't been there for too long, you're going to see a dramatic difference right there on the first pass. If you're dealing with a stain that's been on the floor for a long time, you might see significant improvement, but not a complete removal just yet. Don't be discouraged. That's completely normal. Some deeply set stains need 2 passes to fully come out. If you need to go again, just repeat the process. Apply another round of baking soda, a little more Dawn, a little hot water, scrub for a few minutes, let it sit, then rinse again. The second pass almost always handles whatever the first pass left behind. Most people are genuinely shocked at how well this works. I've seen stains that had been on garage floors for 3 or 4 years come up clean with this method. Not lightened, actually clean. Final results. So let's talk about what you're going to see when all is said and done. Before you started, you had a dark, greasy stain, probably with a slight sheen to it and maybe some discoloration spreading out around the edges where the oil had soaked in over time. It made the whole garage feel grimy, even if everything else was tidy. It was the first thing your eyes went to when you walked in. After this process, that spot on the floor is going to match the surrounding concrete much more closely. In many cases, you won't be able to tell a stain was ever there. In cases where the stain was very old and very deep, there may be a slight ghost of it remaining, a little bit lighter than the stain was, but significantly improved. And if that ghost bothers you, one more round of the same process usually handles it completely. What you're left with is a garage floor that looks cleaner, feels cleaner, and this might sound small, but it matters, makes you feel better every time you walk in. There's something genuinely satisfying about walking into your garage and not having that stain staring back at you. And you did it yourself with $8 of supplies in about 15 minutes of actual working time. No rental equipment, no expensive professional service, no straining your body. Just a smart, simple method that actually works. Maintenance tips. Now that your floor is clean, let's talk about keeping it that way, because a little prevention goes a long way. The single best thing you can do is address any new oil drips immediately. If your car leaks, or if you drip oil while doing any kind of maintenance, don't wait. Grab that box of baking soda and cover the fresh drip right away. Let it sit for 15 to 20 minutes, then sweep it up. For fresh spills, that's often all you need. No scrubbing, no soap, just baking soda absorbing the oil before it has a chance to soak in. Keep a small shaker or container of baking soda in your garage just for this purpose. It costs almost nothing, and having it on hand means you can tackle a spill the moment it happens. If you do a lot of work on your car, consider putting down a drip mat or an old piece of cardboard under the engine area when the car is parked. It's not the most glamorous solution, but it completely prevents stains from forming in the first place. And if your car is leaking regularly, it's worth looking into getting the leak fixed, not just for your floor, but for your car's health too. A small oil leak can turn into a big engine problem if it's left alone long enough. One more thing. Once or twice a year, you can do a general cleaning of your entire garage floor using this same baking soda and dish soap method, diluted a little more with water. It keeps the whole floor looking fresh and prevents any buildup from getting out of hand. A clean garage floor makes the whole space look larger and more organized, and it takes just a few minutes when you stay on top of it. And there you have it, a complete step-by-step method for removing oil stains from your garage floor permanently, using $8 worth of supplies and 15 minutes of your time. No pressure washer, no harsh chemicals, no professional service. Just baking soda, Dawn dish soap, a stiff brush, and a little bit of patience. I want you to actually try this. Don't let that stain sit there another week, another month, another year. Pick up what you need on your next trip to the store. Set aside 15 minutes this weekend and take care of it. You're going to be amazed at what a difference it makes, not just in how your garage looks, but in how you feel when you walk in there. And when you do try it, I want to hear from you. Drop a comment down below and tell me how it turned out. Did it work on the first pass? How old was the stain? Did you use the cat litter step? I read every comment, and your results genuinely help other people watching this video know what to expect. So don't be shy. Share what happened. If this video helped you, please give it a thumbs up. It really does make a difference in helping other people find this method when they need it. And if you haven't subscribed yet, now is a great time. Hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell so you don't miss what's coming next. Speaking of which, next time we're tackling another problem that drives a lot of people absolutely crazy: rust stains on concrete. You know those reddish-brown stains that show up where metal chairs, planters, or tools have been sitting? They look permanent. They're not, and the method for removing them is just as simple and inexpensive as what we did today. You're not going to want to miss that one. Thanks for watching. Now go get that garage floor clean. You've got everything you need.